I have a feeling poor Charles may be standing on the edge of a secret so explosive that even the people closest to Nathan may not know how to survive it. Because what if Josslyn, trapped, drugged, and barely conscious, is the one person who accidentally sees what no one was ever supposed to see? I keep coming back to one chilling possibility. Josslyn may believe she is hallucinating. She may think the drugs in her system are twisting reality. She may see a face that should not be there, a man who should not exist, and she may convince herself that her mind is breaking under pressure. But what if it is not a hallucination at all? What if the man Josslyn sees is not Cassius pretending to be Nathan? What if the real Nathan has been alive this entire time? It seems as though General Hospital may be setting up one of those shocking soap twists where everything the audience thought they understood suddenly becomes unstable. I do not think this is just about one man returning from the dead. I think this could become a much darker story about stolen identity, false evidence, hidden prisoners, and years of manipulation. Right now, the situation already feels messy, dangerous, and almost impossible to trust. Cassius appears to have been accepted by many people because the DNA sample and fingerprints seem to match Nathan. I can understand why that would convince people a DNA match is not easy to dismiss. Fingerprints are not something most characters would question. But I keep wondering whether those samples ever truly belong to Cassius. Could it be that Cassius used Nathan's real DNA and real fingerprints to build the perfect lie? That would explain why people might have believed him. That would explain why the return from the dead seemed impossible to deny. And this might mean Cassius has not just been impersonating Nathan emotionally. He may have been living inside a carefully constructed identity that was stolen from the real man. For clarity, I would separate Cassius and Nathan completely. I would imagine Cassius as the false Nathan, the man using the proof, the face, and the story. Then I would imagine the real Nathan as someone else entirely now, possibly renamed Joe, and possibly played by a different actor. At first, I know that could feel strange. I know viewers may resist it. I know it may seem hard to accept that the real Nathan could come back with a different name and a different face. But in soap opera logic, especially in a world like General Hospital, I think that kind of twist could slowly become believable. And if the actor connected to Joe ends up being tied to the real Nathan, then no one may have expected how deep this story could go. The biggest question for me is where Nathan has been for the last 7 years. Cassius seems to have a story filled with missing memories, gaps, confusion, and unanswered questions. But what if those missing years are not missing because of trauma alone? What if they are missing because Cassius never lived them as Nathan in the first place? And what if the real Nathan remembers too much? That may be why he has been kept hidden. I can imagine Nathan being locked away inside Sidwell's castle, hidden in a room close enough for Josslyn to sense something is wrong, but far enough that no one expects her to find him. Maybe he has been held there for years. Maybe Faison was involved at the beginning. Maybe Cullum played a role. Maybe Sidwell inherited the secret. Maybe Cassius helped maintain the prison because his entire fake life depended on Nathan never being found. Even Victor Cassadine could have been part of this nightmare before his death. I can imagine a chain of custody, one villain handing off a living secret to another, until Nathan became less like a man and more like a dangerous piece of evidence. And if that is true, the truth could be about to come out. Josslyn's role may be the key. I keep picturing her being injected with something that leaves her paralyzed or heavily sedated. She may be trapped in that terrifying space between being awake and unconscious. Cassius and Pascal may believe she is completely out. They may speak too freely. They may move too carelessly. They may assume she cannot see, cannot hear, and cannot remember. But Josslyn is not someone I would underestimate. I could see Cassius slipping away to visit another prisoner nearby. Maybe Nathan is being kept in a room to the left or right of Josslyn's cell. Maybe she cannot move, but her eyes may open just enough. Maybe she sees Cassius enter another chamber. Maybe she sees a man restrained, weakened, and hidden from the world. At first, Josslyn may think the drugs are creating shadows. She may think she is seeing two Nathans because her mind cannot process the horror in front of her. One Nathan is walking freely, controlling the room. The other Nathan may be trapped, silenced, and barely surviving. That image alone could shake the entire storyline. I also wonder whether Nathan may have been gagged from the moment Josslyn arrived. That would make sense. If Cassius and Pascal knew Josslyn was nearby, they may have wanted to make sure she never heard him. Maybe Nathan has been trying to call out. Maybe he has been waiting for any chance to alert someone. But if his mouth was covered, Josslyn would not hear anything until Cassius made one careless move. Could it be that Cassius removes the gag because he wants answers? Could it be that Pascal thinks Josslyn is too drugged to notice? Could it be that Nathan says just enough for Josslyn to realize that everything she has been told is wrong? I think this is where the story could become more intense. Josslyn may wake up hours later, or maybe a full day later, remembering fragments. She may not know what was real. She may question herself. But one detail may keep bothering her. One sound, one movement, one glimpse of fear in Nathan's eyes may stay with her. And once Josslyn realizes Nathan may be alive in the next room, I do not think she would stay passive. I could see her trying to communicate through the wall, through pipes, through tapping, through any small sign she can manage. She may need to be careful because one mistake could alert Cassius and Pascal, but Josslyn has survived enough danger to understand that panic could get her killed. Nathan, on the other hand, may carry years of secrets. If he is the real Nathan, then he may know who took him, who moved him, and who has been protecting Cassius. He may know why his identity was stolen. He may know what Sidwell wants. He may even know why this plot had to stay buried for so long. That is where I think the motive becomes fascinating. Maybe Cassius did not steal Nathan's life simply because he wanted a new identity. Maybe someone needed access to people Nathan once loved. Maybe someone wanted to infiltrate Port Charles through trust and grief. Maybe Nathan's return was never about Nathan at all. Maybe it was about Maxie, Liesel, James, or someone connected to a much bigger scheme. And if Cassius has been pretending to be Nathan, then every emotional moment around him may suddenly look different. Every tear, every reunion, every hesitation could be reinterpreted as manipulation. I do not want to say that is definitely what is happening, but it feels like the kind of reveal General Hospital could use to turn one storyline into a massive fallout. The possibilities are brutal. Josslyn and Nathan could try to escape together, only to realize one of them has to stay behind. Cassius could discover Josslyn knows the truth and move her before she can warn anyone. Pascal could betray Cassius if the secret becomes too dangerous. Sidwell could decide that both prisoners are liabilities. Or Nathan could be free physically but not mentally, with years of captivity leaving him unsure whom to trust. I can also imagine Josslyn getting out with only part of the truth. Maybe she escapes, but Nathan does not. Maybe she returns to Port Charles sounding frantic and unbelievable. Maybe people think trauma and drugs caused her to misread what she saw. And that would give Cassius one more chance to tighten his grip before the walls close in. But if Josslyn and Nathan both escape, Cassius and his allies could face a disaster they never planned for. Because once Nathan is seen alive, the DNA evidence may stop being proof of Cassius and start becoming proof of the crime. Once Nathan speaks, even in fragments, people may begin to question everything. And once Josslyn connects the prison, Sidwell's castle, Pascal, Cassius, and the stolen identity, the entire lie could begin to collapse. I do not think this would be a quiet reveal. I think this could become a storm. The truth could be about to come out, but the danger may grow worse before anyone gets answers. Because if Cassius has protected this lie for years, would he really let Josslyn destroy it now? Would Sidwell risk exposure after keeping Nathan hidden for so long? And if the real Nathan is alive, what happens when Port Charles finally has to face the terrifying question no one may be ready to ask? Who has everyone really been trusting all this time?